Begin now?
Yes, yes,
Am I audible and visible to everybody?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Um, a very pleasant good morning to everybody present here. I am delighted to welcome you all to the third and last day of the third International Young Folklorist Conference 2026, which addresses vernacularity and folk practices, mapping living traditions and the Indian knowledge system. I am Samriddhi Raj, your anchor for this session. Shreya Swain is reporting this session, and Ruchi is here as tech support. Before moving forward, I would like to request everybody to be present throughout the session right now and join heartily in the next sessions too. It is the last day of this much prepared conference, and we would want everyone to be with us throughout the day to successfully conclude it. It's going to be amazing. With that, we'll be starting the day with special keynote address with the topic documenting traditional knowledge to folk craftsmanship practices and policy frameworks for the socio-economic development of the artisan communities in West Bengal. For today's speaker, we have Professor Sujay Kumar Mondal, Professor, Department of Folklore, University of Kalyani. I warmly welcome you, sir. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. Today's session will be chaired by Mr. Mayukh Lahiri, Assistant Professor, Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, Shri Shiksayatan College, University of Calcutta. Thank you for your presence, sir, and I invite you to take this session forward.
Thank you, Samriddhi. First of all, thank you very much, and good morning to everyone present here. And I express my gratitude to CFSR and CFCS, University of Hyderabad, who have given me the opportunity to be a part of this three-day conference. May I have the honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Sujay Kumar Mondal. Although a person of his repute does not require any formal introduction, still for our audience, Dr. Sujay Kumar Mondal is currently professor in the Department of Folklore, University of Kalyani, and joint director of the Center for Culture Studies with over 2 decades of teaching and research experience. Course coordinator of the certificate course on folklore, tourism, and community development in the same university, and is also the acting chairperson of the Public Relations Cell in charge of the UGC-sponsored course in journalism and mass communication. He was associated as a visiting faculty in Ramakrishna Mission, Swami Vivekananda University, and Swami Vivekananda Research Center, Ramakrishna Mission Vidya Mandir, Belur, West Bengal. A recipient of Suhasini Devi Medal, Silver Medal from the University of Kalyani for ranking first class first in Masters in Comparative Folklore, followed by the doctoral degree from the same university in 2007. Dr. Mondal has immensely contributed to the academia through his active research engagements. He has published extensively in numerous national, international peer-reviewed journals, edited many like Lok Darpan, Shinjan, to name a few, and has authored books. He is a member of the Indian Folklore Congress, IFC, and Folklore of South Indian Languages. Today, Dr. Mondal will speak on documenting traditional knowledge of folk craftsmanship practices, and policy frameworks for the socio-economic development of the artisan communities in West Bengal. Once again, a warm welcome to Dr. Mondal. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Respected chairperson, Dr. Mayukh Lahiri, and the organizer of this conference. I convey my special sincere thanks to the CFSR and also the Center for Focal Studies of University of Hyderabad. All the faculty members of the Center for Folklore Studies of University of Hyderabad and the participants of this conference, and ladies and gentlemen. Today, can I share my PPT?
sir. Just a minute. Just a minute, sir. Yes.
Can you see the slide?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Yo, can I start now? Okay, okay. My title of today's presentation is documenting the traditional knowledge of folk craftsmanship practices and policy frameworks for the socio-economic development of the artisan communities in West Bengal. Generally, traditional knowledge refers to the community-based knowledge system transmitted orally and through practice across generation. In folk craftsmanship, it includes raw materials, selection, design, logic, symbolic motive, ecological understanding, production techniques, and social organization of labor. Actually, traditional is integral part of the folk craft of any region, any places of the globe. It has been in existence in Bengal for long and has been used in different folk crafts in rural areas. It is observed that the traditional knowledge of folk crafts is disintegrating with the process of modernization and mega urbanization in the context of globalization. So, the folk crafts and the related artisans of different folk craft communities are seriously affected by the modernization or urbanization in the context of globalization. Today's discussion will cover the traditional knowledge of various folk craft forms of West Bengal and deal with the present socio-economic condition of the artisan community and policy frameworks for the development of the artisan community or communities of West Bengal. I have selected folk craft for these studies. These are on-sale craft, and the community is Shankhari community. Second one is pottery and terracotta, woodcraft, shola peat craft, brass and bell metal craft, dhokra craft, stone carving, weaving, cane and bamboo craft, dhokra craft, and mask making. This is the map of geographical distribution of different craft forms of West Bengal. So many craft forms we have seen in our state, like terracotta, clay modeling, stone carving, console craft, etc. This is the picture of the different steps of making of pottery. These are also related to the traditional knowledge of the pottery craftsmanship. Some of the are tools using in the at the time of production of artifact, or some pictures of the producing the artifact with the help of the different equipments. This is the picture. These are the picture of the traditional furnace using in the pottery craft in West Bengal, also other states also. These are the pictures related to the brass and bell metal craft of Nadia district of West Bengal. Actually, I have reviewed so many research documents related to the traditional knowledge and the traditional knowledge of the craftsmanship. In today's context, in view of UNESCO, IPR, TRPS, WIPO, CBD, WTO, and such other noted organization and institution, it becomes mandatory to document the inherited traditional knowledge of the people. Three broad approaches have been developed. First one is protecting traditional knowledge as a form of cultural tradition. Second one is protection of traditional knowledge as collective human right. And third one is steps taken by the World Trade Organization and the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, which investigates the use of existing or novel measures to protect the traditional knowledge. This is the most important initiative as taken by this type of organization. Scanning the international policy background, a significant approach in addressing the craft sector is the creative and cultural industries model, that is CCI, developed by the European Union and also adopted by the UK government as the creative economy brand. Broadly, this model views craft as a component of CCI, that is cultural industries, creative and cultural industries, in convergence with other fields like architecture, publishing, media, etc., that involve individual creativity. Other relevant international models applicable to the craft sector are the Japanese one village, one product, OVOP model. This is very popular model. And the related, another model is one Tambun, one product, OTOP product program of the government of Thailand. This involves village level specialization in production, marketing, and institution building for economic revitalization. These are the most important model in the international level. This is the some of the research work regarding this matter. Nationally, we have seen some national institution already have been paid attention on the protection and preservation of traditional knowledge of indigenous people in India, which are ASI, CHIR, ICSSR, etc. In this context, a remarkable project was initiated by the CSI and Ayush jointly in the year 2001, that is TKDL, Traditional Knowledge Digital Library. The project TKDL involves documentation of the traditional knowledge available in the public domain in the form of existing literature related to Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, and Yoga. This is very important initiative taken by the government of India, that is Traditional Knowledge Digital Library. The traditional knowledge of folk crafts was not much focused in the periphery of traditional knowledge studies in India. Some government bodies overseas policy formation, outreach, and advocacy, and implementation of schemes and programs at the national level. Some of the research work. First one is the very important research work, that is Simon has written the paper Traditional Knowledge of Folk Crafts in Tamil Nadu, published in the Indian Journal of Traditional Knowledge, and so on. I have also published a paper documenting the traditional knowledge in the journal Folklore and Folklorists. Now I entered the study area of my study. I have selected 16 villages and four districts of West Bengal. We have studied 5 major craft forms of West Bengal. These are conch shell craft, bell metal craft, solar pit craft, clay doll, and dokra craft. These are the names of the villages of different districts. Already I have said about the traditional knowledge of folk craft. Again, we can discuss about the traditional knowledge of folk craft particularly. The traditional knowledge of folk craft has significant role to play in the recent development of our nation. Hence, traditional knowledge has its significance undoubtedly. Traditional knowledge reflects its multiple dimensions in our society. In today's context, in view of UNESCO, IPR, TRIPS, WIPO, CVD, WTO, and such other noted organizations and institutions, it becomes mandatory to document the inherited traditional knowledge of the people. Here, the word mandatory carries very important meaning in the field of even folkloristics. The discussion involved issues like traditional knowledge to modern technology, the development and the interrelationship, necessity to document the traditional knowledge form being extinct, a tentative scheme of scientific document of traditional knowledge. In this connection, I have tried to highlight the suggestions of UNESCO regarding the documentation and have presented some case study on folk craft forms in West Bengal that involves the case of folk art and craft in particular. First section of this part of discussion is traditional knowledge to modern technology, the development and the interrelationship. In folklore, traditional knowledge implies certain technical connotation. It generally refers to the matured, long-standing tradition and practices of certain regional or indigenous communities. This knowledge also encompasses the wisdom, knowledge, and teaching of any concerned community. It has been orally or imitatively transmitted for generation to successors or from person to person. Some forms of traditional knowledge are expressed through tales, legends, proverbs, songs, rituals, and other genres of folklore. Other forms of traditional knowledge are often expressed through different means. Such knowledge typically distinguishes one community from another community. Such knowledge may have theological and spiritual meaning. This can also reflect any community's interest. Some communities depend on their traditional knowledge for survival. The United Nations proposals defines traditional knowledge system, TKS, to be local knowledge. It is the record of human achievement incorporating the complexities of life associated with survival. Traditional knowledge may have technical, social, organization, or cultural, usually obtained as part of the man's experience, experiment, as well as his struggle for survival and development. In the context of folk art and craft, I can say this is the not the art for art's sake. This is the art for life's sake. Traditional knowledge is perceived in diachronic perspective will tell its relation with the modern development. A general overview says that the modern technology is based on traditional knowledge, depending on the earlier in one basic criteria of change or development. If we accept this notion, then we have to accept that knowledge makes the basis of our sum total knowledge. The new invention cannot deny the traditional knowledge. For example, some instances may be cited as a blacksmith work, weaving, dokra craft making. That is also metal craft. Boat making. Now, second part of this discussion is the necessity to document the traditional knowledge from being extinct. The General Conference of the UNESCO in the year 1989 regarding recommendation on the safeguarding of traditional culture and folklore stated some suggestion. First part of the suggestion is identification. First one is a general outline of folklore or global use. Second one is a comprehensive register of folklore to prepare the register of folklore items. And third one is the regional classification of folklore or the geographical distribution of the folklore genres. Second part is of the suggestion is the conservation and preservation of folklore materials. First point is established national archives like traditional knowledge digital library. It is also a important archive regarding folk medicine. Established national archives where collected folklore can be properly stored and made available. Second point is establish a central national archive function for service purposes. Third point is create museums or folklore sections at existing museums where traditional and popular culture can be exhibited. Fourth point is give precedence to ways of presenting traditional and popular cultures that emphasize the living or past aspects of those cultures, showing their surroundings, way of life, and the work, skills, and techniques they have produced. Fifth point is harmonize collecting and archiving methods. Sixth point is trained collector, archivists, documental list, and other specialists in the conservation of folklore, from physical conservation to analytic work. And 7 point is provide means for making security and working copies of all folklore materials and copies for regional institutions, thus securing the cultural community and access to the material. This is the tentative schematic representation or schematic presentation of the documentation of traditional folk knowledge. First part is identification. In this section, first we need to identify the geographical distribution of the folk crafts forms of any places or any states or any districts. Cultural and ethnic identity, regional classification, identify the traditional bearer. First one is active traditional bearer, ATB, and second one is passive traditional bearer, and the functions of the folk crafts forms. Section B. This is the most important section for documentation of traditional knowledge of folk crafts or any genres of folklore. Dex research, collecting related database, making database, print, audiovisual, photography, digital data. We need to establish nowadays digital database or digital platform for the preservation and conservation and dissemination of the traditional knowledge of folk crafts. Making museum, national level, regional level, local level, supported by the government or non-government organization, archiving, exhibition, permanent and special exhibition, workshop, and demonstration of process and techniques, awareness raising, intellectual properties, international, national, regional, and local cooperation for this initiative. And third part also very important, that is dissemination. Make arrange fairs and festival, documentary film, publication, training, documentation center for training workshop. We need to skill person for this type of activities. Now I show some visual documentation of some folk crafts forms of West Bengal. The craft form is Dokra craft. For making Dokra artifact using raw materials, some raw materials, that is brass, beeswax, etc. The casting of finally detailed metal artifact by means of Sire Pardu. This is the name of the production process, traditional production process, or lost works technique is almost as old as settled civilization. It involves 6 stages. First one is core making. Second is modeling. Third point is molding. Fourth point is dewaxing. And fifth stage is casting. And last stage is finishing. Its motifs, idea are mostly drawn from folk life and folklore. The elephant is the most popular, and other motifs include human heads, kings, miniature replicas of majors, containers with lids, with or without locking devices, etc. This is the picture of Dokra craft. Women artisan and male artisan making the artifact using different equipments and other materials. These are the artifacts of Dokra craft. Now, I want to discuss about the, very briefly, Shola Preet craft. In this craft, main raw material is the Shola Preet. And some traditional tool is using the artisan of the district of Birbhum, Bankura, Nodia, and so many districts we have seen. The artisan produces the artifact of Shola Preet craft. These are the finished product of the Shola Preet craft. Here, all of you see the different tools of the Shola Preet craft. These are the indigenous tools. made by the artisan for their crafting practices. These are the visual documentation of the brass and bell metal craft. So many tools are using in this craft. This is the different part of the artifact of the bell metal craft. Another important folk craft of West Bengal is cone shell craft. Cone shell craft not only have economic significance but also contribute to the formation of basic structure of traditional culture. It is one of the most important folk crafts, is old and aesthetically marvelous. Craftsmen of these cone shell products are called Shakhari or Shankhukar or Shankho Bonik, belong to the ancient Novo Shakha, which is one of the so-called 9 crafts communities. Over the years, craftsmen have been carving the picture on cone shell reflects that social, mythological, and historical expression. These crafts have an important relevance on Hindu rituals and culture on the one hand, and interior decoration on the other. Thus, this cone shell craft community has an important contribution to the village economy, religious rituals, and traditional culture. From the very first, Shankharis are facing serious problems and they are neglected in the society. The deterioration and possible disappearance of the traditional crafts are not researched, not was much attention paid to the socio-economic implications. These are the production process, different stages of the production of the artifact of cone shell craft. These are the picture related to the cone shell craft. This is the finished product of cone shell craft. Most important artifact of the cone shell craft is decorated cones and the bangles called shakha. These are the tools, some of the traditional, some of the modern tools. Now, due to time constant, I escaped some slides. This is a picture of the mummy doll craft. That is woodcraft. Another important craft form is West Bengal is weaving. General policy framework for the artisan as taken by the government developed the cluster enterprise, handicraft training, preservation, craft heritage, welfare artisan, development of database, international support, infrastructural development of the workshop, permanent workshop for the artisan, supply of raw materials, support to marketing, export promotion, fiscal incentives, brand building. Now, I want to discuss about the present socio-economic status of the artisan communities in West Bengal. I have conducted a survey regarding these issues. Out of total 290 interview artisans, of 222 are male, which comes to 76.55%, and 68 respondents were females, which makes up to the 23.45% out of the total 100%. This is the graphical representation of the distribution of sample artisan population according to the gender of my study. This shows the population distribution of the artisans who were interviewed on the basis of their caste. The total number of artisans who were interviewed was 290, in which 4 broad divisions can be done on the basis of their caste: scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and other backward caste, and the leftover other category. The scheduled caste consists of 70 respondents, which makes up to 24.14% from the total number of respondents. The scheduled tribe consists of 20 respondents, which is 6.90%. The other backward caste consists of 96 respondents, which is 33.10%, and the leftover respondents who does not belong to the special caste, any special caste category, were 104, which is 35.86% out of 100%, which is termed as other in the table. This table shows the distribution of sample This table shows the distribution of the sample artisan population according to the caste, and this graph shows the different artisan of the study. The craft form is bamboo craft, dough craft, brass and bell metal, solar pit craft, wooden mask, wooden doll, weaving, chow mask, stone carving, shitol pati, dokra craft, terracotta, clay doll, cone shell craft. Table number 3 shows the distribution of sample artisan according to the age. The population distribution of the artisan on the basis of their age. Out of the total 290 artisans who were interviewed, on only 3 or 1.03% of artisans are below the age of 18 ages. 95 number of artisans are between the age of 18 to 35 year age, which makes it the category having the highest percentage of respondents, that is 32.76. 75 or 25.86 and 82 or 28.28% artisans fall in the age of category of 35 to 45 years and 45 to 60 years respectively. The rest of the 35 artisans, who makes a total of 12.07%, are above the age of 60 years. This is the table regarding the possesses agricultural land holding of the artisans. This table shows the number of artisans who have some amount of agricultural land holding. Out of the total 219 artisans interviewed, 210 or 72%, 72.41% number of artisans do not possess any agricultural land, and 80% and 80 or 27.59% artisans have some amount of agricultural land holding in their possession. This table shows the annual income of sample artisan household. This table shows the level of annual income of the sample population that is selected as this that is selected in the study, arranging from low income group to further moving into the higher income group. We can see that number 2, that is 0.69% artisan earn rupees 27,000 per annum. 25 or 8.62% artisan gets annual income of rupees 27,000 to 40,000, and 17 or 5 to 86% artisan receives an annual income between rupees 40,000 to rupees 60,000. 31.03% artisan receives an annual income between 60,000 to 80,000. And 18.97% artisan receives an annual income between rupees 80,000 to rupees 1 lakh. and 21.38% artisan receives an annual income between rupees 1 lakh to rupees 1.5 lakhs. And lastly, 13.45% artisans receives an annual income rupees 1.5 lakhs and above. Looking into the figure, we can see that most of the number of artisans earn roughly between rupees 60,000 to rupees 80,000 annually. This is the actual picture of the artisan community, different artisan communities of West Bengal. Main source of the artisan family is the craftsmanship. This graph shows the 93% artisans depends on craftsmanship, like bamboo craft or stone craft or stone carving craft or pottery, weaving, etc. This graph shows the role of the cooperative initiative in the marketing of the artifacts. Only 14% artisan supported by the cooperative for their selling the artifacts. 86% artisan not getting any support from the cooperative society of any places of the studied area. This graph shows the types of houses the artisans live in. 150, that is 51.72% artisans live in a pakka house. Walls and ceiling are solid. 33.10% live in kacha pakka house. Some parts of the house is made of solid and semi-solid building materials. Only 14.83% artisans live in kacha houses, and only one artisan are in who live in a hut. In this study, we have found various challenges related to the crafts of West Bengal. First one is old traditional production techniques leading the higher cost and compromise in quality. Second was the production schedules are not in synchronization with orders. Product design and development is not based on the craftsperson and the market. Non-availability of raw materials with proper standards and specifications. No standardization in pricing of the products. Lack of convergence, lack of capital, lack of access to credit for working capital requirements. Absence of adequate handicraft marketing outlets for direct marketing. Difficulty to access urban markets. These are the major problems faced in the manufacturing production of the artifacts or related to the crafts forms. major problem is the economic problem. Second one is lack of proper marketing system.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Your time is running out. You may
Okay, okay,
please
okay.
wrap up. We have other
Just
sessions.
5 minutes. We conclude.
Yeah, sir.
Okay. And the lack of adequate pace, lack of communication system, political inference. These are the major problems of the are facing by the artisans. This is the graphical representation of the different problem faced by the artisans for manufacturing and production of the artifacts or related to the craft form. These steps should be taken in terms of producing, manufacturing, and marketing strategies. First one is increasing the amount of government grants, controlling the cost of raw materials, providing regular allowance to the artisan, create a minimum wage structure for the artisan under the supervision of the government, to arrange seminars, workshops, fairs, exhibition in different districts through government initiative, establishment of government-run marketing center, reducing interest rates while giving loans to artists, reducing the complexities in the procedure while giving loans to artisans. These steps should be taken to revive and preserve the folk crafts form. This is very important. Conducting training program and workshop of master disciple artisans, Guru Shishya Parampara, various steps for the promotion and regeneration of the craft form of programs, training and awareness camp, initiative taken by the government, government organization and non-government organizations for the arrangement of exhibition, state artisan day observance, recognition of skilled artists, donation and other assistance to the distressed artists. Directorate of MSME of the government of West Bengal has taken so many initiatives regarding the development of the rural craft hub, and they have selected some of the places for developing the rural craft hub in the district of Coachbihar, Dakshin Dinajpur, Birbhum, Bardhaman, Nadia, Bankura, and Purulia, and Paschim Medinipur. Major promotional program undertaken by the Directorate of MSME of the government of West Bengal. These are the promotional programs undertaken by the MSME. We have found policy gap in West Bengal through primary level gap analysis. First one is the lack of infrastructure in terms of amenable workspaces and adequate housing, power and water supply, storage, road connectivity, unavailability of adequate raw materials, lack of access to credit, lack of access of social welfare scheme like health and life insurance, absence of brand image, less penetration into the domestic market, competition from machine-made products. Measures should be come under the following scheme for the welfare of the artisan or artisan communities. Some of the scheme undertaken by the central government and the state government, like Baba Saheb Hastashilpo Vikas Yojana, We have some suggestion for the development of the.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay, just 1 minute.
Okay, sir.
We can try to training to the technical and non-technical person who are associated with the artisan profession and provide after training, handholding and marketing support. Try to implement attractive scheme for the development of micro entrepreneurship activity. Try to promote craft farm based tourism activity for additional income opportunity to the artisan family. Try to address the artisan health hazard issues through special health card solely for artisan community. Try to ensure to motivated women to participate art craft business activity through self-help groups or government scheme like Day NRLM, Day NULM, etc. So we see the condition of the artisan are not so good. There is huge scope to taken measures for the development of the artisan community. And non-government organization and the government organization can take so many initiatives for the development of the artisan communities of the nation and for the sake of the heritage of the or tradition of the folk crafts of our nation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming and gracing us today morning and developing, making a big project find easy. So I hope you might have completed this project very successfully.
Yes.
It's a very interesting model. People can take it up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. This was a really an engaging session and enriching lecture, I believe, to all the participants present here. And one thing I was remembering that is, it was very much relatable to Daniel Lerner's concept of passing of traditional society. That is when the knowledge has to be passed on from one generation to another generation. And that is probably one of the most significant factors when it comes to folk art and folk traditions.
Yes.
And what I found very interesting, that is how you have focused on their social upliftment, their socio-economic upliftment in order to protect the art. Because I can remember that a few years back, United Nations, UNESCO, in fact, they had published one very important data, that is as many as 250 languages are vanishing from the world every year. So when we talk about the culture and cultural products, if one signifier is language, another signifier is definitely the cultural products. So I believe it was really a wonderful and enriching lecture to all of us, which really introduced us, gave us some kind of exposure to the ongoing folk cultural practices and folk cultural products. In some parts of West Bengal, as a Bengali, I strongly believe that there are some, of course, other folk arts in West Bengal. Of course, in this time crunch, we cannot focus on all such artifacts. But of course, it was, I really thank you from the core of my heart because of such kind of lecture. So can we have time for a couple of questions, if there is any?
Rusha, is it possible we can take one question at least? Then
Yes, sir. Yes.
Because we are already running short.
Yes.
Next session has 4 speakers. Anyway, one question we'll take.
Jolly, how are you?
Fine, Mondal sir. Thank you so much. I was just commenting without my photo. Thank you so much for coming.
if there isn't any in the chat box, then we can open the floor. If anybody has a question, we can take only one.
Yeah, if there is any question, because we are already running short of time. So
Mondal Saab can be contacted if anyone needs to further. As
yes.
As is Mayukh has already told, there are innumerable number of traditions still in Calcutta, in Bengal itself. I'm so sorry,
Yes,
Bengal itself. So this is a very interesting model, very precise, a very consistent model. So somebody wanted to young ones who wanted to take it up can always contact Mondal Saab and get back to it. Thank you so much. Yeah, Daniel Lennox, this is wonderful. It's an old one, but it is still, yeah.
So, I would request Professor Mondal, if he has not any problem, he may share his PPT with us. That is very much informative.
Okay.
We love it.
I'll
Thank you, sir.
send it.
So we have his email ID. So if anybody has any question, we can sort of mail it to him later, because we are running out of time. So maybe the chair can sort of wind up.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. So we'll move on to the next segment of today's program, and thank you for being with us. Thank you.
Can I leave now?
There is